Sound check.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of this Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. We also live on YouTube. We also live on YouTube at the Triple Threat Show, where you can check out our new logo, designed by a friend of mine named Ryan Mays. He did a wonderful job. Thank you to him. What are you two doing?
I accidentally opened my phone and an ad was playing. And it just started playing, and I quickly closed...
All I hear on the other side is...
Anyway, we have a lot we have a great show today, but before we have
a great show.
We have a great show. But before we get into it, we don't have a sponsor. Congratulations, Caleb.
Thank you.
On completing college.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so ready to be done.
Yeah.
4 years, it was enough. It was a good time. COVID kind of ruined a vast majority of my college experience, but you live and you move on. It's been fun. So, you guys, you and Shane, Jeremy and Shane, let me throw some names because you guys can't see who I'm looking at. So Jeremy and Shane, you guys have 1 year left. I believe in you guys. You guys got it. Peter, you've graduated. Congrats.
And then when they graduate next year, I get to go to law school again. Well, not again for the first time.
Okay. I'm going back to law school. I never went in the first place, but I'm going back.
University of Phoenix Law School doesn't count.
Did you go to the University of Phoenix? Oh, okay.
They don't have a law school. I don't think that the bar would allow that.
I don't know.
Where are you going to law school?
Still have to take the LSATs. But it's probably going to be... I want to stick with my girlfriend, so I'm just going to go where it's near, but it has to be a top 50 school.
GMU.
What?
GMU? George Mason?
Yeah. No, they have
That's,
a really good law
they're
school.
close. It's within the state. It's up in Nova.
I don't think that we're going to be in Virginia, though. I think we're going to be moving out.
Well then who cares?
Yep.
Anyway, so we have a full house, as you can tell by all the voices that are here. But, those voices, you might not know their names. So, introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Shane Brisland.
Okay, this is really weird. I'm joined by my three friends and co-hosts.
Yeah.
As
Shane
always.
Brisland.
Peter Kegwin.
And
Caleb Carney.
full house today.
Hey! It's the last show. I've gotta.
We're going to go out in style. Caleb, what do you want to start with? You are in charge of the show today.
The man of the hour.
You are the man of the hour and a half.
I think it'd be more fun if we talk some XFL. I love XFL. I've had so much fun with it. I've watched so much XFL. For the first time since 1992, Washington, D.C. will have a team in a championship game. It doesn't matter that it's XFL.
You're talking about football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You went to the XFL with us.
No, I'm talking about...
I didn't know if you were...
like Washington, D.C. and total, because I was like, the Capitals have won.
Yeah, the Nationals.
I'm talking football. Just like in football alone. Nationals are great. So, but like in football, first time since 92 that DC will have a team in a football championship. I'll specify it for you.
Thank you.
They look good. They do. I think that'll be a pretty good game. I think they played earlier this season.
They did.
Of course, DC won. Can't remember how close that game was.
It was close. They blew it at the end. They were up by like 20, and then they blew it at the end.
Oh yeah, that was that game. I did watch that. Yeah, DC has a issue of blowing it in the fourth quarter. They're a lot like the Atlanta Falcons. They like to just choke in the fourth. It's rough. What is going on over there? Peter's getting messages and he's laughing.
Anyway, so for those who aren't aware, the XFL has its first championship game.
Since its return.
Yeah, it's the new post-COVID, post-2020, post the third iteration.
It's the third iteration. This one's owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia.
They have their first what's it called, championship game on
Since like 2001.
and it's in San Antonio.
Yep.
Are you going to San Antonio?
No,
Were you planning on
I wanted
going?
to go back to DC to see the Rock raise his eyebrow at us again.
That game was so much fun that we went to. Lemon Gate. We'll never forget that.
But
Yep.
yeah, it's the Arlington Renegades, surprise team there, taking on the
Really?
DC Defenders.
I thought they were better than the Roughnecks.
Yeah, they had a worse record though,
Just
and
doesn't
they were
matter.
kind of bad. They went through
Okay,
like
well,
5
I mean-
quarterbacks.
They did. They kind of did do that. But I think that that game should be interesting. I think it'll be a little bit of a shootout. I think it'll be a fun little game. I think it'll end probably within 3 points. I wouldn't be shocked if it ends within 3 points.
Always.
I'd be happy if DC wins. I won't be shocked if they choke it. But I think DC overall is the better team. And a lot of those players are actually getting invites to mini camps up in NFL. I don't know if you've seen that, but
I've seen a couple. Some of the big names.
there's been
From
a
the
lot of them.
from the Sea Dragons especially. You've got Ben DiNucci, who got an invite to the Broncos camp to back up Russell Wilson, which I think there's a real shot that he will make the roster there, and will be the.
Hey, don't hate on Ben DiNucci. Don't
What?
hate on Ben DiNucci.
Peter,
What's your thoughts on this, Peter?
what are your thoughts?
I just can't wait for him to fumble at the goal.
Look, it's basically what Russell Wilson's doing right now anyway.
Okay, that's mean.
No,
I mean, who let Russ cook? So
who let him cook?
I mean,
Broncos
Patrick
country?
Starr, even that game on Nickelodeon, he's absolutely fantastic. You don't know what I'm talking about. The NFL aired a game between the Rams and the Broncos, and they had the voice actor of Patrick Starr commentate.
I remember what you're talking about.
And Russell Wilson threw an interception, and the voice actor of Patrick Starr says, I don't know. I don't think that's what Russ was cooking. And it was quite possibly the most hilarious thing that has happened in all of NFL history, because that's just awful. It is awful when you get roasted by an animated character.
But another name that I think is really interesting that I'm glad got a shot, Ja'Cour Pearson. He led the XFL in receptions and I think also yards, but I know it was receptions. I know he led the league in receptions. I think he is going to make the roster, and I don't remember which team he got invited to, but I believe that he will contribute this season. He won't just be a backup. The way that he runs his routes and his quickness, he'll be a really good slot receiver for someone.
He got invited by 2 different teams. He got invited by the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts.
I like that. I think him
I
on
like
the I
both
think
those
him on the
guys.
Colts with Richardson as like a check down option is going to be really good.
I think either way is just a good route for him.
Yeah.
I think either team is a fine choice for him. There's been a lot of teams inviting XFL players. I think the XFL being back is great for some of these players who haven't made it onto the NFL roster, and they miss out, and then they get their shot in the XFL, and they shine, and then they get a call about who is shaking the building. That's crazy.
It's probably nothing.
Yeah, but Austin Prohl, wide receiver from the Battlehawks, Proel, how do you you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He got invited by the Panthers and the Eagles. Both of those are good choices. The Panthers did a lot of inviting. The Panthers
I have a lot to fill.
The Panthers invited an offensive tackle, a wide receiver, a center, I can keep going. Corner, linebacker.
I think it'd be easier to list the positions they didn't invite.
Yeah. Panthers have a lot of needs. They're trying to fill it from the XFL. They've found all the big names that they can, all the people who have shined in the XFL, and they're inviting them. But Broncos doing the same thing. They're also finding all these players from the XFL, inviting. It's crazy. You can tell which teams have needs and how they're trying to find a way to fill them. And you can tell which teams know they're good and they just invite one player. And they're like, we'll get that player because we're the Eagles.
Does anyone want to play Where's Waldo with me?
What?
Because I'm trying to find... So the picture of Todd Centeio, our former quarterback,
Yes.
went to the Chiefs minicamp. And JMU Football sent out a picture of the Chiefs mini rookie camp and said, "We spy Todd Centeio." I cannot find him anywhere in this photo.
The question is do you know what Todd Centeio is?
I do know it.
Can you send it in the group chat or something?
Yeah.
We're going to play a fun game for everyone listening on the radio with no visuals.
Just go to JMU Football Twitter.
Twitter? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good news. I don't remember.
I know what Todd Centeio looks like. I have to do tape
that's
stuff.
true.
Oh god, that is a difficult photo. There's so many players.
Yeah. I don't remember if Obase ever got an invite.
He did not.
He did not. The only player that did
No,
is...
that's not true.
Who else got an invite?
Green got an invite. He got an invite to the Jets.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think Obase is getting a little snubbed there.
And it's an older running back with injury history,
Yeah,
so it's
we
like...
talked about it on my show.
I know, but like...
I felt the same. I felt like he was getting snubbed, and I was like, but you got to realize he's been here for so long. He had the COVID year.
Yeah,
And
but he could make it on as like RB3.
Maybe. I think best bet for him right now is go to XFL.
Oh, absolutely.
Or USFL.
I would absolutely support the XFL. I enjoy it. Those games have been fun to watch. They've been great all year. I think the Rock's done a great job bringing it back. So, are you guys still?
I can't find him.
I know. I've been looking. Can't find him anywhere.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, yes. The mini camp, we'll circle back to that.
Crazy.
Over the summer. We'll do some kind of summer show. And we'll circle back to those things. But some more pressing stuff. We have some playoffs to talk about.
Oh, we do a lot of playoffs.
Who do you want to, which league do you want to start with?
You guys want to start NBA or NHL?
It's up to you. This is your time, Caleb.
This is the Caleb show.
This is the Caleb show.
I want to hear some hockey. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen hockey. I've been really busy, and so I need Shane to catch me up. I'll be completely honest.
All right.
I've missed hockey. I hope you two have watched, because I have absolutely just missed it because I've been just crammed.
We have some hockey. We're going to start off Toronto versus Florida. Now, Peter, Caleb, who's winning the series right now, do you think?
3 games have been played. So if you want to throw a guess out there.
Based on how you said that, I'm going to say Florida.
I'm going to do that for all the series, so don't make it.
I'm going to go with Florida still.
I'm still going to say Florida.
Okay.
Are we right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
They're up 3-0 on Tampa. And the most concerning part, the
3-0?
they're up 3-0.
That's
Game
madness.
4's tonight. And the most concerning part, Samsonov, the goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs, is out with an injury. He took a pull between the legs. Yeah. That's not even the part that he got hurt on. There was an odd man rush, and his defender tried to block a shot, and he slid into the goalie, causing him to, go back into one side of the pole, and also collided directly onto his shoulder. So, not good.
I'm just imagining one of those Looney Tunes things.
Honestly, it kind of looked like it a little bit. Yeah. but they're down their goalie.
I would disagree with that's the most concerning part. The concerning part is that their star players aren't scoring. Because Samsonov, in my opinion, he's very much an okay goalie. Like, he had a good Tampa series, but he hasn't really looked that great in this series. But it really doesn't matter when the guys making the big bucks aren't scoring. Like, Matthews hasn't scored. William Nylander hasn't, like, Marner, Tavares, like, all the guys who are getting paid just aren't putting the puck in the back of the net. But that's not a diss on Florida. Florida has been playing spectacularly. They have been the better team in the series. They are the underdog. They're playing with no pressure, and they have the hot goalie, which is the most important part. Like, a goalie on a hot streak in hockey is a death sentence, and that's what they have. And a lot of people in the media I've heard are giving off.
That is him. You found him. He was on the end.
We
He's
have
just on the edge.
urgent updates.
He's just on the edge. He's number 14.
That
is him. He's cut his hair.
That's him.
Oh.
He's shaved. It took me a moment. I looked it up. Also, in the tweet it says we found Todd Centeo 1-4.
It did?
You guys are just blind.
I didn't really pay because
My reading comprehension skills are not up to par.
And so I just found 14. And then I was like, I think that's him. And so I looked him up again to make sure I had the right picture. And I was like, that's him. Sorry. Back at it.
So, a lot of people are giving the Florida Panthers, like, 2012 Los Angeles Kings vibes. Because the Kings in 2012, they came in as the 8th seed. You know, Jonathan Quick was this dominant force, just stealing every series and causing huge upsets. And I can see the resemblance. And with a Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett, who are just, like, hitting everything that moves, playing physical, and they're getting all the goals they need to. And Florida won the President's Trophy last year, and most of the guys from that team returned. So it's not like this team made it to the 8th seed as some fluke. They deserved a playoff spot. And the Leafs just look unprepared. And they are definitely not working. And you brought up some interesting insight. We were talking while watching playoffs last night, and he was saying how the Leafs are trying to do too much in the neutral zone, going for these long stretch passes instead of trying to simplify their neutral zone break-in. Just get pucks in deep, get shots on net. You're not shooting enough. Just put something on net and hope something happens. They're being way too fancy, and they just need to play simple playoff hockey.
Yeah, it's a mess. I know you don't watch a lot of hockey, but you can tell the difference between a team that has a game plan and a team that doesn't. You know? And I know they have a game plan, but they're not executing it. It doesn't look... It looks like video game hockey, you know, is the gist of it. And
don't the Leafs have an issue of not making it past the first round, and they've finally done it?
Yes.
Yep.
So, isn't this like maybe they've figured out how to get past the first round, but now they're not able to get past the second round? Maybe they're not used to playing long seasons. Maybe they're used to first round exits, and so now they're wearing out. They're not used to this. You know, we're playing into May. Like, they're used to getting to May and then being done. Could this be the result of not ever playing this long? Do you think that has some issue for the Leafs?
No, because they have some veterans in there. They have Mark Giordano. They have Ryan O'Reilly, veterans who've made deep Stanley Cup runs. And I think
I'm just trying to think of, like, as an overall team, because, like, sure, you have the two, like, great players, but, like, as a team overall, can those two really overcome the rest of the roster not being used to making it this far?
Well, I mean, they're all young. It's a younger roster. It's a younger roster that, as you said, doesn't have all these miles under them. It's not like they're a Tampa,
right?
That went to 3 straight Stanley Cups. They have the energy for this. They're professional athletes.
That's true.
They know how to treat their bodies to be able to handle this, and they haven't been doing this for, for
Years.
19 years they haven't made it
Right.
this far. You know, this is like
I'm just trying to think of some reasons of why they fell off, as hard as they fell off.
there's a lot of things.
Because I mean, like, we
First
didn't
of all-
expect Boston to get absolutely killed in the first round.
No, we did not.
I'm just trying to think, like, what went wrong.
Well, they're also, Toronto's the biggest market in hockey, so maybe
Right.
the pressure is constantly just getting at them and they just can't play their game. And Florida is the smallest market, maybe outside of Arizona. And they're just like, they don't have a huge fan base, so it's just, and then they were the last team to
So
make
they're
playoffs.
they're playing just to play.
Yeah, they don't care. They have no expectations, and you can tell that they play like it too.
Rough.
Yeah, they just do whatever they want because it's just like who's gonna criticize them. They weren't expected to do anything.
Going for it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, I think that if there's any team still alive in these playoffs that can reverse sweep a team, it's the Leafs.
It's just they definitely have the talent to do it. We just haven't seen the talent yet in this series.
They need to get past Big Bob.
Yeah,
But
They-
now they're missing their goalie. Their starting goalie.
but Samsonov has been inconsistent this season, and it's just
So
I
do
feel
you
like
think
the
it could
goalie
be-
position is very much on who's hot right now, and so God knows what this third string's gonna do. Because like we've seen it before in playoffs.
He
where,
didn't look that good. He played the last two periods of Game 3, or last 3 because he went to overtime. He didn't look that good, honestly.
But with goalies, you never know. Like you never know when.
It also didn't help the amount of odd man rushes he was
Yeah.
facing. That's bad. That team just needs to get set and slow down their tempo. They can do it. They just need to make the adjustments. They should beat that team.
They just need to figure out.
Like
how
I understand
to play
they've
good hockey again.
yeah, they've been outplayed in this series, but I don't think they've been that badly outplayed. I just think that they have made a bunch of stupid mistakes, and a lot of those mistakes have been in their defensive zone, trying to break out. So that leads to a lot of odd man rushes, which leads to a lot of goals from the other team. But the other Eastern Conference series, that has been wild, to say the least. Who do you think's winning this one? It's Carolina.
Yeah.
And the New Jersey
And
Devils,
Devils.
they've played 4 games.
Devils Hurricanes. I want to say that's an even. I want to say it's an even score. Even 2-2. I would like to say that, but you guys are staring at me. So
Well, we're kind of waiting for Peter's response.
Hurricanes.
Ding 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 ding. Peter wins again. Peter gets 2 points in the game.
It's a 3-1 right now.
3-1.
Wow.
This is the first time since I don't remember. There's like 3 teams since 2000. Three series that every single game in the first 4 has been decided by at least 4 goals. There has not been a single close game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No defense. I could have told you these would be high-scoring games. I just didn't realize that
It's-
they were one-sided.
It's not even no defense. It's just there's only defense from one team in any given game.
They realized
Yeah.
the following day, oh, we messed up. We're gonna play defense next week or next day.
Yeah, it's just we've talked about the Devils' goaltending issues, like Schmid.
Schmid.
Schmidt.
Yeah,
Schmid.
he was good in the Rangers series, but I
He's
guess the hot hand has died out, and he hasn't looked good in the first 2 games.
Akira. We'll just call him Akira. We hit Schmid.
Schmid.
And then they put in VTech, but VTech has allowed over 4 goals in the past 2 games. Even in their 8-4 win, he still let up 4 goals. And Carolina just looks like that well-coached veteran team that we know them as. And New Jersey just looks like the inexperienced team like we thought they would look like coming into the series. And Carolina's done a really good job neutralizing their speed in the neutral zone. And like I've said before, Carolina is one of the best defensive teams they have been for the past 5 years. and they are also one of the best coached teams. And you just see that in this series. They're just frustrating the Devils. And Jordan Martinook is having a phenomenal series. Like, a player who's put on waivers has had 9 points in this playoff series. And Carolina, despite all the injuries they have to their star players, I could see this team going to the Cup final. I think them and Florida would be a very interesting matchup. Like the hot hand versus the really well-coached team. It would be interesting to see how those teams battle it out.
Yeah. Carolina, obviously, when you're scoring that many goals a game, even in losses, like, gosh, it's scary, that offense. And you touched on that defense. I mean, I know they're hurt and all that. Oh, that didn't protect my eyes at all.
For those of you who don't know, there's a camera in here, and Caleb just took a picture of Jeremy with the flash on.
I found some sunglasses too, so I thought it would help.
They're pretty cool sunglasses.
They're
Honestly, I kind of like them. I'm not gonna take them, but
You look like a 1980s cop.
that's what they are. They're aviators.
But that flash is like 4 times brighter than it needs to be.
Dude, I still see it.
Jeremy's seeing stars right now.
Speaking of the
Speaking
stars,
of stars,
yeah.
moving on to Dallas.
And Seattle.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try round 3.
Round 3.
Who is winning this series?
4 games have been played.
I need names.
The Seattle Kraken playing the Dallas Stars.
I say it's tied. I'm going to go with it again. One of these has got to be right. The series has to be tied. This one, I think, has the capability of going to Game 7 and ending on a 7.
Stars.
Caleb's right.
Caleb wins.
Woo!
We're tied at 2 with 1 leg to go. I mean, who could have written a better script than this one? The Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars are tied at 2 games. It's been a story of bounce backs, really.
Yeah.
Defense?
No, it's been defensive games generally. Other than Game 3, the Dallas defense just collapsed.
Game 4 was like, what, 6-3? Dallas?
Oh, it was. Yeah. I turned it
And
off
then
after
Game
5-1.
1, there was Joe Pavelski had 4 goals and they still lost.
They did. That did happen.
So very
It doesn't
high-scoring
sound
series.
I was about to say,
yeah.
it doesn't sound like a lot of defense.
I think
The Flash is messing with my brain
I think
still.
what he meant to say was it's a very physical series.
Okay, well, yeah.
Like, both of these teams have a physical style of play, and it's just, Ottinger has been very hot and cold. Like, he has one bad night, but he has ridiculous bounce-back numbers. It's like he's like 21-3 after a loss. So
That's crazy.
So as if you just get a little more consistency out of Ottinger, Dallas can take this series. Miro Heiskanen, he was almost out. He was one of the best. He's the best defenseman on the Dallas Stars. Top 5 defenseman in the league. He blocked a shot in the face, and he left Game 3. And you really noticed his absence on Dallas. Somehow, he was able to play in Game 4, and you just noticed the huge impact he had because Dallas looked like a lot more confident of the team, and they looked really like they had a really good start to that game. They were like, we're not letting Seattle run away with this series. And, Game 5, very important game, like we said before. After whoever wins Game 5, you have like a 70-something% chance of winning. So that's going to be a physical, rough game.
Who won Game 1?
The Kraken won Game 1.
That was
Kraken are going to win the series then.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. Is it's going to come down to who won that first game and just set the tone. But at a 2-2, it's anyone's.
Yeah. And then that was a really good narrative because I think we talked a little bit about this last week. Joe Pavelski, he's like 38, 39 years old, but he just continues to produce. I think he had his highest career point total in the regular season this year. And he was injured in Game 1 of the first round against the Minnesota Wild. He had a concussion. First game back, scores 4 goals. Unfortunately, it was an overtime loss for his team, but just coming back and making a statement like that in the series was just a phenomenal to see. And this is one of the more exciting series to watch. Just a lot of scoring, a lot of back and forth. it's tied to too. It's kind of like what you want out of playoff hockey, not like all of these blowouts we've seen lately.
Yeah. I mean,
The
even
blowouts are hard to watch.
Yeah.
They are.
yeah.
I like hockey, but I don't like watching a team just go out there and you're like, they're going to lose.
What is the worst sport of the four major sports? Hockey, basketball, baseball, football. What's the worst one to watch a blowout?
Football.
Really?
I say football. Because then it just becomes run the clock. It becomes, hey, we're going to watch Derrick Henry make 10 runs back to back to back until they pump the ball. Or it's going to be, hey, we're going to watch Christian McCaffrey run the ball 10 times before they just punt it away.
I feel like I think basketball's a lot worse to watch, just simply because they just take everyone out. And they'll put in, like, the guy who doesn't come in.
I like seeing bench warmers.
But they don't. See, the bench warmers are literally told, don't shoot the ball. Just pass it like 20 times and then shoot the ball.
That's fair, but like sometimes bench warmers like to just ignore.
The problem is that that's straight to the G League because they're usually two-way contracts.
Right.
So, I don't know. I like football. I like football blowouts just simply because the other team will then just start throwing Hail Marys to try and get back into the game. Sometimes.
Those are sometimes fun to do. Not fun to watch.
And then you have a quarterback with 5 interceptions in the game, and it's funny.
I guess I think the issue is watching the team that's already winning on offense.
Yeah, but
I think that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, I think it's hard to watch every single sport in a blowout.
Yeah, there's not a good one to watch in the blowout.
Right, and it's hard to watch the team that's winning on offense in a blowout.
Sometimes it's fun to watch a blowout, though, because there's the shot that they come back. I mean, we saw this past year with the Vikings and the Colts. I mean, biggest comeback.
Right, that's why you
Of
have
all
to keep
time.
it on, you know?
Yeah.
Shane sits up. He's so happy. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Sorry,
That's right.
Talking about a happy Vikings memory, those are rare.
Oh, don't worry. Kirk Cousins only does that like once every 10 years.
It's like, no, Kirk Cousins
That was
does
also
it
the
once
same
a year.
year, like they were
Kirk
down
Cousins-
they were down a lot to Buffalo too, and
Yeah.
they came back.
Kirk Cousins does it once a year. He's good for a comeback story once a year.
Well, you had 2 this year, so I think.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that means we won't have one next year. God.
He's he got
Oh,
some
He's
bad
all his
news.
chips.
Too many in one basket.
That's okay. You guys can get killed next year.
Honestly, I kind of
Well, actually, I'm
maybe,
still
maybe
waiting to
this
see
is
on
the
Dan
kick in the
Snyder's
pants the
team.
Vikings need to like
Excuse me.
draft a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they draft like a quarterback in the 7th round this year?
6th round. I don't know. He's some guy from BYU. I've never heard of him.
Something like
He's from
Max,
BYU. No
like
one is.
Max Duggan. Like,
We love BYU quarterbacks. They always turn out good.
It's almost like
See Zach Wilson.
It's almost like 3 out of Minnesota's 6 draft picks were BYU players
Were they really?
or TCU players. It was TCU.
Yeah.
They
That's
drafted Max,
dudes from
not BYU.
TCU.
They drafted Max Duggan in the 6th.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, yeah, that's not from BYU.
it's not BYU.
No, it's not.
It's TCU.
Yeah.
I could have sworn.
No,
Whatever.
They drafted 3 TCU players. I see. That's why I started talking because I was like, BYU doesn't sound right, but like,
That's why I said with the quarterback, I was like, no one's ever heard of a quarterback from BYU as a joke. But then when you said Max, I was like, he was from TCU.
because I said Max, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, they drafted Max Duggan. I think. Am I wrong about this?
Max.
Somebody fact check me.
You're being fact checked right now.
I
The
swear.
Chiefs have signed
Yeah,
Lamar
QB.
Jackson.
What?
What?
Not the same Lamar Jackson.
What? That is not what I've been asked to fact check.
So,
Sorry, it's breaking
5th
news.
round, 164th overall, QB Jaron Hall, BYU.
Jaron Hall.
Who's
Yeah.
signing Max Duggan? I thought it was the Vikings.
Nah.
I wish.
No, you don't. Max Duggan sucks.
Hey. He has.
No, he's bad.
Bucks signed Max.
No way.
Yep. Bucks draft TCU quarterback Max Duggan.
Was that the quarterback that went to the finals and got
Yes.
their butt kicked? Yeah.
Yeah, and also if you watched him in any of those playoff games, or even no,
Don't say it.
or if you watched him
Don't
in
say something stupid.
in-
Don't say something.
in
No,
the
let's
in the
hear
Big
about it.
12
It would be good for YouTube.
in the Big 12 finals game, he looked really really bad. Like he was so inaccurate. It wasn't good.
I agree with you. He was not playing well.
What? What? You
Someone
think he's gonna
loaded
sue
on
me
TCU
for saying
players.
that he played really badly in the important games? He played so bad in the important games against good teams.
No. I'll tell you what I thought you were gonna say after the show is over.
I thought you were going to say that Max Duggan did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And then that TCU team looked great. And I was
Yeah,
like, you're going to be...
That TCU team
He had a lot of
carried
heart.
him.
When he ran
I
and
was-
stuff like that.
I was
He did.
like, there's no way.
He-
they're
he
about
ran
to say
hard.
something like this.
He's not good. He's not good.
But
There's
I was
a-
concerned. I was. I'm trying to figure out who loaded on TCU.
Wasn't he like a Heisman nominee too?
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been.
I don't think you understand how bad this guy was. Like,
It's just kind of hard to, because I knew they had a really good season, and I never really watched
that
it
defense
all
was pretty good. And
That
they had
defense was very good.
and they had a bunch of really good skill positions. You had first round receiver, you had running back Keandre Miller, who got hurt, so he fell a little bit. He probably would have gone in the second or third round if he hadn't gotten hurt, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
So he fell. I don't remember where he got drafted, but he did get drafted.
Is it 4?
Fourth sounds right to me, but I don't know. And that all he would do is throw like checkdowns,
He threw checkdowns and then
Quentin Johnson would just
His-
run 70 yards and score a touchdown.
And then occasionally his offensive line would give him a hole that was big enough to fit like
Two semi trucks
two
through.
semi trucks through because the offensive line did a very good job protecting him, and he would run.
That
for-
offensive line also stacked.
Yeah,
They
no, it was a
had,
very good
like,
offensive line.
I think 2 or 3 of them were drafted this year.
No, it was a very good offensive line.
That team carried him.
And
Is
then,
the point?
You know, but I mean, they had to beat big teams to get there. But we're getting off topic.
Yeah. And so the final series, Vegas Oilers, Vegas up 2-1, and again, it's been another series of like, I think game 1 was close. Again, Leon Draisaitl had 4 goals. It was close until the end, and then the Knights ended with an empty netter, and then it was the Oilers blew out the Knights, and then the Knights blew out the Oilers.
How
So
do we get to Max Duggan from hockey?
I
we
don't
talked
know.
about
It doesn't matter.
Oh, hockey.
it was like blowouts,
Blowout.
2 blowouts in 5 major sports,
Okay.
and then the Vikings actually making a comeback.
Yeah.
And then Vikings allegedly drafting this quarterback. We couldn't remember who, and then we got into a TCU rant.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, we are ADHD
Yes.
in this room.
We covered
But-
some ground.
Talking about drafts, though, we were talking about the NFL draft, but the NHL,
NHL draft.
had a draft lottery,
Ooh.
and this draft class is very hyped. There's like a generational prospect in Connor Bedard.
His name is Connor Bedard. He's supposed to be. He's the next Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And so
They were creating new rules to let him play. He was like 15 and he was too young to play. And
Yeah.
then Canada made a new rule saying
Oh yeah.
They-
if your name
they-
is if
they
your
granted him an exception.
if your name is Connor Bedard, you can play in the older league now.
Wait, so is he draft going in at 15?
He's going in at 17 or 18.
No, so he's draft eligible this year, but
Oh.
so when he was playing in the top Canadian junior
Gotcha.
league,
How old is he?
they let him
He's younger
in-
than us.
Yeah, he's like 17,
I have
18.
no doubt about that. But
He's
no.
17, 18. He was
Okay,
like,
so kind of like what overseas with basketball because
Yeah.
they like
Yeah.
13.
It's exactly
14.
like that, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, he was like 14, 15, and he was
Yeah, he's
playing
17
with
right
like
now.
20,
Good for
16
him.
to 21 years
So
old.
good
Yeah.
for him. Yeah, he's supposed to be the next Sidney Crosby. Which, you
I hate
know.
when media does that.
The first overall.
Well, you have like generational talents in basketball and hockey this year.
No,
Supposed.
no, I just hate when they put so much pressure on someone and be like, they're the next Michael Jordan or something like that.
Well, the
It's
thing
like,
is, he's
you're just setting him
also
up to
he's
fail.
also Canadian. So the fact that, yeah.
He got a +5 on his skill tree.
So the fact that it's just a Canadian super hyped prospect, and he's like performed really well in international tournaments.
He played.
Well,
He played.
Canadian team.
In the Canadian League, he played 56 games In those 56 games, he had 74 goals and 72 assists.
And how many games?
56.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
Because with the 2023 NHL draft lottery, the
How does your lottery work?
the Chicago
It's a lot like the
Blackhawks-
NBA.
Old one or new one?
How did the old one work?
Old one was 25 to first, and then
It's all the non-playoff teams.
yeah, I know it's all non-playoff teams, but then the percentage-wise, it was like 25 to the first, but now the first four, 12.5.
I don't know exactly the percentage
It's-
breakdowns. I know first, the worst record gets a 25.25% chance.
It's like the old one, yeah.
And I don't know how the rest of it goes.
It's like the old one before the NBA switched because they thought it would help with tanking, which it doesn't.
Here we go. For the 2023 NHL Draft Lottery percentages breakdown. For the first overall pick, the Anaheim Ducks had the 18.5% chance. Blue Jackets had a 13.5% chance. Blackhawks had an 11.5%. Sharks had 9.5%. Canadians 8.5%. You go down by 1% to the Coyotes at 7.5%. Then, or actually to the Flyers at 6.5%. And then you go down by 0.5% to the Capitals for 6%. Then you go down to the Red Wings with 5%. Then you drop 1.5% to the Blues. 0.5% to the to Vancouver, 0.5% to Senators, and you just go down by 0.5% from there.
Anyway,
So
big controversy happens. There's 3 picks left. Do you remember the top 3 teams? Anaheim had the best odds. Columbus had the second best odds. Chicago had the third best odds. Now, if you were in the front office, if you were the commissioner of the NHL, Peter, Anaheim, Columbus, Chicago, which one of those 3 teams would you want to have Connor Bedard?
to a generational talent.
Probably Chicago.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
with
And-
the
Market.
first overall pick in the 2023 NHL Draft,
Chicago got it.
Chicago
got it.
Blackhawks are on the clock.
So obviously,
Patrick Ewing happened. Cool.
this
Yeah.
leads to a lot of people claiming that the NHL is rigged.
Every league is rigged.
And
You betcha.
um,
What, you haven't seen the script, guys? Come on.
I was so happy when I saw the script this year.
there was also a weird glitch in the broadcast coming out of commercial break
I would say
when it
that's
was just the top 3,
I feel like that's more ESPN.
and it definitely was E
incompetence.
ESPN, but it led a
Yeah.
lot of people more into conspiracies.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like they definitely wanted Chicago to do it
Of course they did.
because
It's the biggest
that's
market.
the best
Yeah.
thing for their league. They already sold like less than 12 hours after Chicago got the first overall pick. Chicago sold $3.5 million worth of new season tickets. Like
I
that.
hate bandwagon fans so much. It's so disgusting.
What, you don't want to watch somebody named Bedard?
I just hate that there's people like, oh wait, there's a brand new generational talent. I guess I'm a Chicago fan.
Chicago
same
won-
happened to the Texans and the Panthers after that.
Well, I mean, that always happens. It
Yeah.
always happens when your team gets the number 1 overall pick because they're like,
Or
oh my
Julian
god,
Green.
I'm excited to see this new guy, you know?
Bryce Young.
But especially when it's a generational talent, it really...
I mean, we're gonna see the same thing with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah,
when
whoever
he's
gets that first pick, they're going to rake in the money.
So
It's not going
what also makes this pick so much more controversial is that Chicago, like we said before, like they won 3 Stanley Cups last decade,
Mhm.
and they just got rid of Patrick Kane, who was like their generational player, first overall pick like 10, 12 years ago, in 2009.
I was about to say, should be like 14.
Huh?
Should have been like 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah, 2009. It happened in 2009, but Chicago recently were under a huge lawsuit because there was a huge sexual assault allegation, and because I don't know if you're aware of this, Kyle Beach was sexually assaulted by one of the video coaches, and they pretty much didn't do anything about it. There was this huge lawsuit. They've covered it up for 10 years and then got brought to light. And the only thing they got, they were fined $2 million. And no draft picks were revoked. And it's just frustrating because the Arizona Coyotes got in trouble for prospect tampering, right? And they lost a first and a third, and probably also got a fine. So the NHL is pretty much saying, prospect tampering is more worse,
punishable.
Yeah, punishable than sexual assault. And so, and then Patrick
What a
Kane.
fantastic moral
Yeah.
compass.
I mean, we've seen that NHL's moral compass this past season.
Yeah.
We have, and I've been rather disappointed in the
Yeah.
moral compass. I can say that. It's
Yeah,
not a liability.
That's not a liability
It
at
is
all.
my
That's your
opinion.
opinion.
That your moral compass sucks.
And Patrick Kane also has some allegations against him. He's had history of allegations.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that that team covered up. Like, no one said a word about it for 10 years. Like, it just makes me question everybody who won that Stanley Cup because that's where their priorities were.
Right.
And so, and like, as a fan of a division rival, I've already hated this team. And hearing all of this stacked on top of it just makes me hate them even more. And now that they get this generational prospect, just makes me think like this is just, life is unfair. Like, this is just so unfair, because they had all this success even though they did so many things wrong, and they continued to get rewarded for
That
it.
was my issue with the Steelers. Steelers had Big Ben. Ben had a couple allegations.
Couple.
Yes. Yes. Quite a few.
Big Ben, more like big number. Like,
Yeah. He had quite a few allegations. So for you to say, you already don't like the team. I didn't like the Steelers to begin with. I rooted for the Browns. Ben's allegations did not help him. So I really did not like the Steelers, and that the fact that Steelers fans were so far behind him and just cheering for a guy who had too many numbers to justify. And then
horrible person.
everyone tried to come at me when Deshaun Watson was hired to the Browns, and I said, I'm not rooting for the Browns anymore. I was like, he joined the Browns, and I immediately went, gone.
Yeah.
I can't cheer for that. I personally, until you have been vindicated for being a generally bad person, for having poor morals, I will not cheer for you. And I know, innocent until proven guilty, but there's some things.
And this is a big,
Big if.
Big if. I thought that he pled he pled guilty, but without pleading guilty, as in he said
pled no charge.
Pled no charge. Like, he was essentially I will, pay out. He admits no. There we go. That's the exact one. He admits no wrongdoing, but he pled that he will pay out, which is essentially
He pled, I'm not guilty. I did no wrongdoing. Or no, he didn't plead not guilty. He pled no charge, meaning I might have done something bad, but
Some may interpret that I did something wrong.
right. But I'm not going to admit it, and so I immediately jumped ship from the Browns. I rooted for some awful Browns teams, so I can understand your pain for rooting for a divisional rival, and then a couple scandals come up, and you're like, I just don't like this.
But
team.
looking at this objectively, for hockey as a whole, this is good for, just from a marketing standpoint, seeing this big projected huge star on a big market.
Right.
I can there's definitely some financial growth appeal to it.
There's a massive financial growth appeal to
So
it.
I can acknowledge that.
I can see why the NHL would rather him go to
it's the Patrick
Chicago
Ewing
than
Yeah.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Or
because Patrick Ewing would have gone to, I think it was the Hornets, maybe.
I don't think it was the Hornets, because it was Anthony Davis that would have gone to the Hornets instead of New Orleans. Or the Bobcats. I guess it was the Bobcats.
it's Columbus, Anaheim, and third
God, the
Chicago.
Charlotte Bobcats were a thing.
But so Anaheim.
Charlotte teams always just boggle my mind.
Ugh.
Yeah, so Anaheim and Columbus, you don't get this generational talent, but the top 5 of this draft class is stacked. So you're still getting some really good players. I think the top 5 of this draft class, each one of them could have gone first overall last year. That's how good of a draft class this is. Like Adam Fantilli, he's going to be a really good player for Anaheim I presume they're going to draft him since he's ranked second. He's just like, he's got the frame, he's got the skill. He won the best player in college hockey as a freshman. Like, this guy just has like all of the makings of like a next NHL star. And then you have Leo Carlson, who's playing as like an 18-year-old in the top Swedish professional league. He killed it. He was putting up a point like every other game. Again, projected to also be a superstar. And then Michkov, he's like a Russian star who's been like talked about as much as Bedard. The problem is he has a 3-year contract, so you're not getting him for 3 years, but you could have like a Kucherov or a Kirill Kaprizov kind of situation once he comes to the NHL to play.
Those always scare me.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's probably going to fall, because NHL teams are really scared of that. And like, that's not even mentioning the whole Russia political situation.
Yeah, we'll avoid that one.
Yeah. And then
we'll
the
take
final
our vehicle and just move it strongly into the opposite direction. Okay.
And then the final player I want to mention, his name is Will Smith.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your last show.
I'm not dropping it. Listen. I've kept it clean this entire time. I have one show to make it through. I'm not swearing.
Fine.
Just the size of disappointment around me.
Yeah. So like, he's really shot up these draft boards recently. He's the best player on the U18 USA North American team. He's really shot up lately, so I think that's your projected top 5, all really good players. But like, the crown jewel is Connor Bedard.
Of
And
course.
Chicago got him. Like, congratulations to the Chicago Blackhawks, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Good job.
very
You guys
sad-
sucked the most.
Yeah.
No, they didn't suck the most.
That's
They were all pretty bad.
They sucked
they
the
were
third
all-
most.
They sucked the third most,
and you got lucky.
and you got assisted by the NHL.
Yeah.
Maybe. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's a big allegedly.
Who might want to take legal action against your
Yes.
husband?
Oh my god, Gary Bettman, is that you?
Should we move on to NBA?
Yeah, we should.
Can I just say this quick thing about
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing's draft?
Yeah.
I never realized how many Hall of Famers were in this draft class.
Which draft class was that?
1985.
I don't know who was in
Okay,
that.
so
I don't know why I
notable
asked that.
names.
19.
Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Charles Oakley, Carl Malone, Bill Wennington, A.C. Green, Terry Porter. It's a pretty good draft.
It's a pretty good draft.
I didn't realize it was that good of a draft.
But NBA.
Yeah, NBA time.
NBA time.
I am severely shocked at a couple of these.
I'm a little disappointed by a lot of these series.
All right, let's move through.
I'm actually also
Who do you want to
disappointed
start
as
with?
well. Heat.
Heat.
The Heat.
Heat.
The Heat.
I said it last.
3-1.
Yeah, I said it last time. I was like, the Knicks can't beat the Heat. So
3-1. That is not how I thought that was going to go.
no,
I mean, it's the Heat against the Knicks. It's the Knicks. It's not the Heat. It's the Knicks.
The Knicks had a very good structured regular season team. Not a good playoff team. The Heat did not care about playoffs. They have a very good playoff team. So
This kind of reminds me of like the Florida Panthers a bit. It's just like the hot team going into playoffs.
I mean, that's just the Heat for you. Like,
that's Jimmy Butler.
that's just
for
Jimmy
you.
Butler.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't try in the regular season
Why would you? If you know you're going to make it to the
Yeah.
playoffs, then why care?
because he knows that team's gonna make the playoffs. So he's just not gonna try. He's gonna save all his energy and be fresh for the playoffs, fresh and healthy.
The
And then
funniest part is that people say he's not in the top 5, and then he does stuff like this, and he is in the top 5. He just does not try.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then he makes it to the playoffs and he's like, you want to see some real speed?
top 5 might be pushing it, but definitely top 10.
No, he's top 5.
Really?
Who are you putting over?
Playoff Jimmy is top 5.
Who you putting
Yeah, but
over?
I'm not talking about just the playoffs.
Well,
though.
if he played like the playoffs, which he could, he just doesn't do it during the regular season because he doesn't want to. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's like when people would say Kawhi was in that top 5 range, even though he was horrible in the regular season. But then playoff Kawhi came out, or playoff LeBron completely, because LeBron didn't care during the regular season. He knew he wasn't going to win the MVP, so why care?
Right.
I'm disappointed in that series.
What? The Heat?
Yeah, 3-1.
Did you think the Knicks were actually going to win it?
It's not over yet. They got another game.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I
it is.
didn't think they were going to win, but I thought it would be more entertaining.
Yeah, fair.
That's my issue.
Talk about entertaining, though. 76ers Celtics. That is
dogfight.
That is a great series to get second place. I mean, it's just woo.
It's a great series to get second place.
I mean,
I love that line. That is quite possibly one of your best lines on this show.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's a great series.
3-2. 76ers are leading, if I'm
Yes,
You
they
are
are.
correct.
They are.
mistaken.
The Sixers are up,
Mhm.
and it's been the story generally,
He's saying whoever
Of-
wins this makes it to the championship game over the Heat,
and then loses.
and then
Okay.
loses.
Because I didn't know if he was saying like second in the conference or second in the.
second overall.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
losing to.
Whoever comes out of the West, they're losing to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
It's either Lakers
Please
or
no.
Dude, the
Please
way they're
no.
the way they're playing right now, honestly.
No,
It's Lakers.
What do
or
you mean
Dubs.
no?
I mean no,
What do you mean by that? though?
because the Suns will absolutely destroy the Lakers. They can't.
But the Suns aren't going to make it past Denver.
No, I don't think they will. And I think
Exactly.
well, who's going to stop Jokic on that Lakers team?
Anthony Davis.
Are you crazy?
Am I
Jokic
crazy?
is going to score 40 points a night on Davis. I mean, you can't. Okay, I saw something on Twitter the other day, and we'll get back to that series in a second. Just imagine how messed up the NBA would be if Jokic had a semblance of athleticism.
Well, good thing he doesn't.
He doesn't. If he did, no one would be talking about Giannis.
Oh yeah, because
Because he would be the greatest player potentially of all time,
yes,
skill-wise. But he doesn't have any athleticism, and that's why.
So what makes him, if he's not an athlete, is he just
he's
smart?
got an incredible shot. He's
Yes.
got great vision. Can pass the ball like the best guards.
He has LeBron level IQ with a 7'2" frame. He's 290 pounds. He's pretty strong. He has great shooters that can get open. So when he goes down low, everyone just collapses on him, and then he can pass out for an easy three. And he can dribble the ball pretty much as good as almost anyone else in the NFL. And he's 7'2". I mean, not NFL, NBA. He's 7'2".
Yeah,
So
7'2"
he's got, like-
NFL player.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be scary.
So he's just like high basketball IQ.
He has
Yeah,
an
he's very
insane-
smart. He's very smart.
Worst part about it is he literally has said on several occasions that he does not like basketball. He's just good at it.
Yeah.
It's fair.
It's a
He's
job
always
for
good.
him. He does not like it.
I feel like saying he's good at basketball is a bit such an understatement.
No, it is an
Yeah.
understatement. He's top 3 easily.
Yes.
So let's move. So 76ers.
Let's go back
Celtics.
to the 76ers Celtics. Yeah.
So, what is everyone's feeling about this series? I mean, at least this is my opinion of the series so far. If James Harden does not play well, the Celtics win it. It's essentially because it's literally gone from he's the best player in the NBA to how is this guy in the NBA to he's the best player in the NBA.
I'm
Yeah.
just worried about that injury for Joel Embiid.
He got his
Yeah.
brace off last night, and he was moving around pretty good.
I'm always worried about Joel breaking because he's glass. So
Hold on, before we break this series down a little more, we've reached the top of the hour here on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of this Triple Threat Show, joined as always by my 3 friends and co-hosts,
Shane Brisland.
Peter Kegwin.
and
Okay, Carney.
thank you so much for tuning in. You can also check us out on YouTube at The Triple Threat Show, on Instagram at The Triple Threat Show, and on Twitter at 3 Threat Show. Check out our new logo, designed by Ryan Mays. It's really good. It's really good. Thank you.
I love it.
Anyway, Celtics, Sixers.
Yeah. So, I mean, the craziest part about this is that I fully expected going into the series, I thought the 76ers were going to dominate the Celtics. And I'm very happy that I was wrong. because it's a lot more fun when it's this back and forth. Because I genuinely believe that there was no one on the Celtics that could stop Joel, and for the most part they can't. But the fact of the matter is that
they can score with him.
They can score with him. So,
and
they've been holding their own, but not much else.
Yeah.
That's not true. The games they've won, they've dominated.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have to dominate.
Other than the overtime game, obviously. But game 2, they demolished them.
Yep.
Like, it wasn't close. Ever.
Right. But, like, the other games, they're holding their own, which is the most they need to do, or the least they need to do.
Because what the Celtics have is depth. They have insane depth.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Tatum can score with Embiid on his own.
He can also just push off the players whenever he feels like it.
And then that's not even including Jaylen Brown, who,
Smartest player in the NBA.
really, really good at basketball. And then all that depth, Brogdon coming off the bench. That was a big trade for them this offseason, getting him from the Pacers. That's that's really underrated move.
Got a Rookie of the Year over Joel Embiid.
And you got something to say? You've got your phone and you pulled the mic close. I feel like you've got a fun little info nugget.
No, I don't. I'm just...
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You were intensely looking, and you looked at the microphone, pulled it close, and I was like, he's got something to say.
There was some club hockey stuff I was just trying to I was trying to deal with, and I was just...
How's the hockey team?
It's doing good. We just found out we have a defenseman who committed to JMU, so he's going to try out. I'm really excited for the guy because he's 6'2", 190 pounds, and we really need size on the team. And he plays defense, and we need more defensemen. So I was very happy to find out that
Insider information.
he's going to JMU today.
Insider information with Shane.
So what do we feel about this series? Do you think the Celtics are going to come back? Do you think the 76ers got it?
I think Celtics get one more win.
And then goes to Game 7?
Maybe. I think...
I would love to watch a Game 7.
Yeah. I think they might be done. I think the next game might be it. I think it ends in 6.
Okay.
Yeah, the Celtics can come back.
You think the Celtics are going to
Absolutely, they can. We've seen it. We've seen the Sixers, and people are going to overreact to Game 5. The Celtics aren't going to shoot 27% from 3 every single game. They just, the basket had a top on it for them all night. They have shooters, they have players that can make these shots consistently. It's not going to happen again. That game, I know it was a blowout, but it should have been closer the way that they just weren't making shots, is what it came down to. I'm not saying they would have won that game, because when you have Tyrese Maxey scoring 30 points, that's tough to beat, along with Joel Embiid and Harden both having good games. But I think the Celtics absolutely are not dead. They just had a bad shooting night, and I think people are going to overreact to that.
Stop telling everyone I'm dead.
What about you, Shin? You said you want a Game 7.
Yeah, I just want to...
Do you think a Game 7's viable, though?
Yeah, for sure, because Boston, they were the number 2 seed for a reason. They've got some good players. Harden's inconsistent. Joel Embiid, God knows how the injury's going to affect him. I think Boston can definitely come back.
Boston.
I think that 76ers will finish at Game 6.
I could just see it being done.
I think that they want to have time for Joel to rest, and so they're going to completely go after it on Game 6.
I think they go hard here.
I think that they try and finish it.
I think they go hard there.
They've really found Celtics' weaknesses.
Thank you, Shane.
No problem.
Thank you.
They found the Celtics' weakness with James Harden. So I think that we'll see a more James Harden-dominated approach for Game 6.
Yeah, and that's what's been working. The we'll see what happens Game 6.
All right, Suns Nuggets.
Suns Nuggets is interesting.
It is awesome.
Yeah, it's so
Suns
much
are
fun to
losing
watch.
right now.
Yep.
It's a 3-2 series.
It's so much fun to watch, though.
It should have been over. If we're being honest,
It should have
Jokic
been.
scored 53 points.
A 53-point triple-double.
A 53-point triple-double and
And
lost.
That is the most disappointing stat line.
They just have a picture of him just looking so
So
like,
sad. He looks beat.
he doesn't. He just looks like annoyed. Like I have a 53
Wouldn't you?
triple. I would be.
I'd be fuming.
What a week of playoffs it's been. We've
I
had
would
2
be-
hockey players score 4 goals and their team
Lose.
loses, and then you have Jokic doing that.
Yeah, I would be fuming.
Like, what are you going to do against what is a historic playoff run for Devin Booker? His efficiency and his scoring,
Define efficiency.
making a lot of shots and not taking that many shots.
To explain that joke, my engineering professor, if you use the word efficiency, will stop your presentation and yell at you and tell you to define efficiency, continue to tell you you're wrong. Because efficiency is not a word you should be able to use. I don't know why. Don't ask me.
That
Well,
is so cruel.
You're
That
allowed.
is such an
Because I
engineering
feel like
thing.
as an engineer, you use that word a lot.
Oh, my favorite is solar panels have a rated efficiency. And somebody said that. They're like, the rated efficiency. And the professor just like perked up. Across the room and, like, stares them down. They're like, define it. And they go, talk to the people that made the solar panel. And I was like, that is a gutsy move. That is absolutely gutsy. I was like, you have lost your mind.
Please don't. Was this Joe?
No.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my god.
it's it's fun. I love just going define efficiency.
Well, in fairness to you, Jeremy, the actual statistic that you're talking about is
He's
called
for efficiency,
field goal percentage.
It is. It is. I know.
I was
he
gonna
is.
say I thought Jeremy defined it perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did great. He did great. But it was just funny. I love that.
And also, it's tough when Booker and KD combined for 85 points 2 nights in a row.
Maybe Chris Paul leaving is a good thing.
CP3.
But no, I mean, I think the Nuggets will eventually finish it out. It is 3-2. They have really nobody that can stop Jokic. I mean, DeAndre Ayton has proven that he is an afterthought. So,
You guys seen the clip where he's just sitting there watching the rebound battle?
yeah. For someone who
He's
all the
he's
hype
like
was-
7 feet tall.
the entire hype was, we're going to get back to big guy basketball. We're going to go back to big men basketball because of DeAndre Ayton. He's going to bring back, he's the next Shaq. And, I mean, he's not bad, but he ain't no Shaq.
He's just there.
He's just there. He just doesn't, he's a good player.
He is a very mid.
He is above average player, but he is not what he was supposed to be.
He's definitely a little bit above mid. But-
I know. But like in terms of what they thought he was going to be,
Oh, yeah, he was the
Literally-
first overall pick.
mid.
He was the first overall pick over Luka, Trae Young,
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
Oof.
At least he didn't do
Yeah.
what the Kings did and draft Marvin Bagley III with the second overall pick and a guy who is now out of the league.
Ooh.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't De'Aaron Fox then.
No,
Fox went in the Tatum draft. That's
Yeah.
that's when he went. I remember that. I really like Fox.
The Marvin Bagley III is.
Goated pick.
He tried to focus on his rap career.
With a name like that, wouldn't you? I mean, he's trying to get the bag.
He would have gotten the bag if he kept playing.
This would be such a.
He's on the Pistons now. What do you mean?
I thought that he was out of the league. I thought he went to overseas.
Last I heard, he was traded to the Pistons.
Do you guys
Alright.
think this goes to Game 7?
No.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
What?
100% it does.
There's
What?
I know that the Suns looked good, and Devin, but
You're all expecting Devin Booker to hit a wall, and he's not going to hit the wall until the next series. So he's either never going to hit the wall this playoffs because they're going to lose, or he's going to hit it next series.
I think that the Nuggets will take care of business Game 6.
July
I like this.
6th, July 6th, 2022, Bagley re-signed with the Pistons on a 3-year, $37.5 million contract. He is still with the Detroit
I'm so
Pistons.
happy that I stopped following the Pistons.
What are the Pistons doing?
Who cares?
Getting Michael Bagley
Who cares?
or Marvin Bagley the third.
They have the worst GM in the entire league. Who cares?
They've just been so bad for so long. You know,
Yes.
you'd think that
Yes, they have.
they'd have some direction by now.
No.
No, sir.
And then the series that everyone is talking about. The
You're
Lakers.
You're telling me that a record of 17-65 isn't good?
I mean, they're trying to go for Victor, though. So.
That's fair.
So now we go to the most important. Some people say that this is whoever wins this wins the finals,
So dumb.
some people-
which I
That's
disagree
stupid.
so strongly. But
I think whoever wins the next round of the West.
oh yeah, well whoever wins the West wins the finals this year.
Yeah.
So Lakers are up 3-1 on the Warriors.
Warriors have looked so bad.
Well, they looked really good this past game until Walker just decided,
Lonnie Walker was like, all right, give me the ball. I'm going to win this game.
Yeah, Lonnie Walker the fourth. For those who don't know, he's a bad player. And so I mean, Draymond Green even said it himself. He was like, if someone like LeBron or Anthony Davis beats you, that's fine. But if Lonnie Walker beats you, you just have to live with that forever. And it's true. Lonnie Walker had a lot of promise when he first went into the league, and now it never panned out. I mean, and he even started with a coach like Greg Popovich, and it still didn't pan out. So, you know,
And Papa made everyone look good.
Pop makes everyone look good, except for if your name is Aldridge.
Yeah, he was past his prime though at that point.
I think he still had a few more years, but Pop just didn't. He wanted another Timmy, and there's never going to be another Timmy.
No.
Timmy. But you know, how are you supposed to expect Lonnie Walker to drop 17 points in the fourth quarter? And the most embarrassing part is, how do you let Lonnie Walker score 17 points in the fourth quarter? I sent a message to you guys in the chat of the most unclutch player in NBA history, and that is Steph Curry. It is disgusting how bad this guy is in the clutch. If I was Steve Kerr, put him on the bench. Bring a fifth grader from the crowd. That guy's gonna make at least one shot. He's 0 for 12 at go ahead buckets in the last 40 seconds of the game. 0 for 12. I guarantee you play fifth grader, they make one out of those 12. Come on, man.
That is the funniest statistic because everyone always talks about how good Steph is.
He's incredible, but it's like he sees the clock running down and he's just like, time to be Seth Curry. Like,
No, I mean, that's what this playoffs has been, though. A lot of the time, it's been that weird role player that steps up. I mean, we saw it in the Suns game 4. Landry Shamet, whatever. He went off in that fourth quarter.
yeah.
He scored like 15 points in the fourth, you know? And then we touched a little bit on Tyrese Maxey. He's not as far down the bench as those other two guys are.
He's usually a good defender, is the point with me.
He's the third star on that team, but he's not usually putting up 30 points, you know?
Mm.
That's what's been the difference in these playoff games, because a lot of these stars have been evening each other out.
Mm.
So it's been entertaining. It's just whichever team's bench steps up that night.
Yeah, I mean,
Generally. Not always. There's always, not that, but...
we need to talk about, though, is There was a NBA insider. He's gone every single game of the Lakers Warriors getting down. Every single time he has picked exactly which team is going to win. It's scary. He said, and so he says that a 3-1 lead. And Jeremy's smiling because he knows who I'm talking about. There's a corgi, a corgi dog that has successfully picked
Is
every
that the one that hits
game.
the ball and it goes
Yeah.
downstairs? Yeah.
Yes.
So
As soon as he said corgi, I was like, yep.
he has successfully picked every single game of this series so
He
far.
has. He's
And
4-0.
He says that Steph Curry is going to get retribution on LeBron, and that he's going to come back from 3-1, and the Warriors are going to win
In 7.
in 7. Do we believe with this NBA insider?
Do you believe in Steph Furry? That's his name, I think, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like if that does happen, the NBA is so rigged.
What? You think the dog rigged it?
The NBA is the commissioner. You
It's
guys
just like-
thought Adam Silver was the commissioner. It's this dog
I
that's
just
able
feel
to
like
hit
narrative-wise, because, you know, the Warriors blew that 3-1 series lead in the finals to LeBron, and now they face each other again, and then they get retribution for it.
Oh, I definitely think the NBA is rigged. But,
You know, LeBron has never lost a game when he's up 3-1.
well,
There's a
LeBron's not LeBron anymore.
There's
so-
a first for everything.
No, they're definitely going to lose this next game.
Yeah.
Because Anthony Davis and LeBron were worn down so much in this past game. That was the entire Warriors strategy of, if we don't win this game, we want to take out their 2-star players for the future games. So they were beaten up so much. And so I don't see them winning this next game. I need the Warriors to win the series so they can win it all, so that way I can say I'm right.
You still gotta be hot.
Jeremy has
We're going to do it in June because I don't have time.
Jeremy has to eat hot wings for his awful take.
Dude, it wasn't that bad. I would have been right if everyone stayed healthy. I think.
Oh well.
And if they didn't blow a 2-0 series lead.
Well, that's part of it, too.
Yeah, it wasn't looking great for me and Peter.
Nope.
And then it turned out fantastic
I
for me
mean,
and Peter.
right when De'Aaron Fox got injured, I texted you guys and I said, well, I feel pretty confident.
That was the funniest thing. De'Aaron Fox, they announced his injury, and then immediately, like 5 minutes after the announcement, Peter says, "So Jeremy, when are you getting those wings?" And I literally looked at the text and I was like, he's gonna eat those words. Literally. And then we came back and Kings had ruined it. They had soiled it. They absolutely had soiled it. It was the funniest thing.
No, I was like, there's only one player in history that had a similar injury and was still able to shoot as efficiently, and it was Kobe Bryant. And
Nobody's
I think Michael did it once as well. So like, I'm sorry, De'Aaron Fox is no Kobe Bryant. So I was like, I'm pretty confident in assuming that he's going to score half as many points as he has been. And lo and behold, he went from 36 to 18. So
It was just the funniest thing when I saw the group chat and you're like, Jeremy, when you get those wings? I was like, oh. It's like, you're going to jinx this and it's going to be so sad. Evidently, it worked out for us.
yep, sure did.
So, predictions for NBA. Who wins at this point?
Oh, well, what do we think about Lakers? Do we think the Warriors can come back?
Oh, no.
So no from Caleb.
No, they don't. They haven't been playing well. I don't like how they've looked.
No from Shane.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
I'm going to move my mic away.
Let me tell you a little something here, guys. First of all, my computer's about to die, so YouTube, if you get cut off, that's why.
We love you anyways.
Yeah. Second of all, the Warriors will not win this series. They might steal a game. They might even steal two. Really make the Lakers sweat a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where they have they've got 3 games left, and you only got to win one of them. The way that this team is built, they're going to win one of them. Whether that be Game 7, Game 6, Game 5, it doesn't matter. They're going to win one of those games. Yeah,
I thought there was going to be a bad take from Jeremy. That's why I moved the mic away, and it was actually a pretty good take.
Well, you better move the mic away, because I have the bad take.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry and the Corgi. I mean, they're masterminds behind this. We all know this. And Steph Curry has been thinking all this time. He's like, I've tied LeBron in rings. I now can beat LeBron in rings. But there's one thing that I don't have over LeBron, and I have never beaten him when down 3-1. So Steph purposely missed all these go-ahead shots. He purposely did that. So now he's going to average 70 points a game.
Genius.
In the last 3 games, he's going to shoot 20,000 threes, and he'll make about 5.
None of them in clutch.
None of them in the clutch. In all seriousness, I think that the Warriors will tie it up. I think it will go to Game 7. I actually do believe that the Warriors do have a shot of tying and winning. But I agree with Jeremy's sentiment of they just have to win 1, and I think the Lakers will win the 7th. I think that they'll be 2 beat up for the 5th. I think they will still be 2 beat up for the 6th. But at that point, old man LeBron is not going to let that happen. And we're going to see 2008 LeBron for 2 quarters before he has to sit down again. So, and then, yeah. So who do we think is going to win it all? Final.
The Celtics are going to win it all.
You think? Oh, so you don't believe with the sentiment of whoever wins the West wins it all?
No, I think the Sixers or the Celtics are going to win.
Okay. What are you thinking, Shane?
I think Denver.
You think Denver's going to win it?
Yeah.
What about you, Caleb?
I was thinking Nuggets as well.
The Nuggets? I got Nuggets.
I think there's this one guy that you're all forgetting who can single-handedly win the championship game.
And who's that?
Jimmy Butler.
If Jimmy Butler somehow wins it all, that has to be one of the greatest championships in
That's got to
NBA
be a
history.
fantastic story.
Like, we're talking about on the level of,
I do think whoever gets out of the East is going to win, though.
I think that's on.
I will eat flex tape if Jimmy Butler wins.
That is so random.
Just out of left field.
That's a lot of damage.
That would be.
I don't know why I was thinking of Phil Swift. All I could hear in my head was, to show you the power of flex tape, I sawed this boat in half. And I was like, don't know why that was in my head. Oh,
That should have been your capstone project.
sawing a boat in half?
No, what can't Flex steal?
Flex tape. What can't the Flex products fix?
Bye, YouTube.
Oh, did they just lose?
No, I'm at 1%. It's going to go any second now.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Anyway. Yeah. No, I don't know. What's the craziest thing that's happened in these playoffs so far, though? Just in the whole thing.
Jimmy Butler.
That's it?
Yes. I'd agree with that.
I mean, an 8 seed beat the 1st seed. That's already crazy. But now they're about to move on again against, I guess it is against the Knicks. But, I mean, the supposed best player in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, looked helpless against the Miami Heat. I mean, that's insane.
It is. It is kind of crazy.
Genuinely, can you really name something that's more insane than that has happened in this playoffs?
An 8th seed has never won an NBA championship, but they have made it to the finals once in 1999, and that was the New York Knicks.
Does that mean...
It's a rite of passage. They have to beat the Knicks.
Does that mean that the Knicks are going to come back from 3-1?
No, stop. Don't say something stupid. The Knicks do not
No, I know. I know that's not going to happen.
come back here.
Yeah. You never know, though. You never know.
Yeah.
Interesting question posed from Hayden Raymer.
Oh, last show, and we get a question from Hayden.